Hey everybody, greetings. Did SiriusXM yesterday, and what I talked about a lot was the retirement, of course, of GSP. So I'm going to give my thoughts again. The interesting thing to me is he's an all-time great. He's a GOAT, period. The only debate is where you would put him, who might be ahead of him. The only candidates to me are Anderson Silva and Fedor, and I think he beats both of them in terms of legacy. And I had Dan Hardy on the show. And one of the things we talked about is, will anybody be better than GSP? And we both agree someone will be simply because the sport is evolving. He's the greatest of his era. The training methods guys use now, yes, someone will get past him. But what I don't think will ever be equaled is his consistency. In this double champ era, the super fight era, guys holding out for big money fights, the consistency with which GSP defended his title, fought the best in the world, lined him up and knocked him down. From the start of his UFC career till about 2011, which is when injuries started catching up with him a little bit, he averaged about 3 fights a year, which at that level, at the ultimate level of the sport, is an incredible pace. He just fought a lot, and guys don't do that anymore. So that I don't think will ever be equaled, is his consistency, his professionalism, the number of guys he beat in his prime, where he was just always fighting the best. And when you think about the number of people who would have not just won titles, but would have had, I think, excellent runs at 170 if it weren't for Georges St. Pierre. When I was talking to Dan Hardy about it, he said, I was fortunate and unfortunate to fight in the GSP era, where, who knows how many great champs we never saw because GSP just kept beating them. Unbelievably consistent. The only knock anybody has on him is that, he didn't finish that much late in his career. But another thing people forget is he fought the absolute best. It's hard to finish those guys. It's really hard to finish those guys. So his consistency, his game planning, his endurance, his preparation, the consummate professional, to me, that's GSP. I made a list, my top 5 GSP fights of all time. Number 5 was John Fitch. The reason I put that on there is John Fitch was seen as a workman, as a guy who was just as consistent as GSP. And the thought at the time was maybe he can outwork the workman. Maybe he has the style that GSP can't outwork him, and he did. GSP did, just knocked him down, outworked him on top, out-wrestled him, out-ground the grinder. That was the incredible thing about the John Fitch fight. I thought that was absolutely incredible. Amazing performance by him. BJ Penn, 2, the second one. The reason I like this fight so much is BJ Penn had kind of put it on him in the first fight. GSP was very honest about it. He said, I was hurt. I was scared going back to my corner. I was like, oh my God, I'm in trouble. Came back and won the next 2 rounds and won the fight. But the rematch, he just wiped GSP right off the map. I'm sorry, GSP just wiped BJ Penn right off the map. Just dominated him. So to go from this guy really hurt me and scared me and overcome in the gym and come back that much stronger was really an incredible, incredible tribute to him. Amazing performance to me. What else do I have on there? Him versus Michael Bisping. Amazing fight, great performance. The reason I don't have it higher, it was kind of a one-off. He kind of came out and did it, and I don't think it was prime GSP. I don't think it was prime Michael Bisping. So a great fight, and it showed what he could do at middleweight. Came back and won a title. That comeback is the amazing part. Was that GSP at his best? No, I don't think so. Was that the best 85er he ever could have fought? No. But an amazing performance, and the layoff, and the fact that he came back and still won. Absolutely incredible to me. Incredible performance. Frank Trigg. That's a fight to me that really put GSP on the map. If you remember back, he was, he had lost to Matt Hughes. He looked great, but, he hadn't really, he dominated Sean Sherk, but Sean Sherk's a smaller 170. Frank Trigg, as a contender, was right at the top, and GSP just owned him from start to finish. And I remember a lot of people in the MMA community at the time went, oh, man, dude, this kid is legit. I think he might be the next big thing. That was kind of his coming out party as, oh man, this kid might be champ, because he dominated Trigg. Just absolutely owned him from start to finish. Really wiped him right off the map. So that's one of my favorite all-time GSP performances. But number 1 is the rematch with Matt Hughes. when he won the title. Just dominated him, hit him with everything. Incredible performance. I mean, that was the passing of the torch from a dominant champion in Matt Hughes to an even more dominant champion in GSP, who seemed to have every tool at his disposal. He had it all. And so to me, those are the top performances of his career. I may have messed up the order a little bit. I don't remember what order I exactly put him in on radio, but those were my top 5 GSP fights. Let me know what you guys think, but an all-time great. And by the way, I'm thrilled to see him retire. A lot of people, oh man, it's a sad day. To me, it's not a sad day. To me, it's a happy day. He got out, didn't have the physical injuries, didn't have the long-term problems, didn't have those last few fights where we're all sitting there worried about him. I personally can do without those later fights. I can do without them. In terms of, okay, Ali came back and beat Leon Spinks. Great. I would rather he didn't do that than see the Larry Holmes and Trevor Berbick fights. I don't need to see those. I don't need to see those. Yeah, Roy Jones had some decent fights after his first loss to Tarver, but I didn't need to see the Glenn Johnson fight. I don't need to see the end. That's okay. If you leave a little bit early, I'm okay with that. I'd rather miss out on one decent performance at the end rather than 2 or 3 tragic ones that I don't want to see. So to me, a fighter getting out of the game with money, with his reputation, without any injuries, without a lot of damage, is a happy day for me. I am thrilled with that 100%. And another thing that GSP doesn't get enough credit for, basically scandal-free his entire career. Never got caught up in any doping problems, never did any knucklehead stuff outside of the octagon. A professional, a class act his entire career, and I think he deserves credit for that. But I'm happy to see him go, on his terms, under the circumstances he wanted. Amazing stuff. And also, by the way, having dealt with him a few times, an absolute gentleman. Always great to work with. Incredible guy. So hats off to him, GSP. You're an all-time great, man. Love watching you, but I'm glad to see you go.